Chapter 6, Lesson 5, Part 1, Percent of Change. So in these types of problems, we're going to start with an amount and it has changed, so we have to figure out how much it's changed. That's what we mean by percent of change. So first we have an example here with a bookshop selling books at a 35% markup. So 35% more than what they actually paid. The original price of the books is $26. What is the selling price of the book? So again, what we know is that the original price, or what the total price was first, was $26. So 100% equals 26. And then it changed by 35%. So what we do is find what 35% of 26 was. In order to do that, you can do the fraction way of 35 over 100 times 26. And that is $9.10. So the price is marked up by $9.10. So to find what the new price is, you add the original price to the markup, and you would get $35.10. So the selling price of the book is $35.10. So we're still doing the multiplication and division like we've been doing, but we're just starting a little bit differently. So in method 2, they did where we first know that 100% is 26. They help us find 1% by turning it into the fraction of 26 over 100. And then multiplying that 35 for the 35% markup times our fraction of 26 over 100. And you still get the result of $9.10. So if you like finding what 1% is first, by all means, do that, and you'll be successful as well. Again, whatever method you prefer is the one you should stick with. All right, so let's do this example about a box of cereal. It's sold at a 15% markup. The original price of the box of cereal is $2.20. So at what price will the cereal be sold? So method 1, we're finding what 15% of $2.20 was, the original price. So we're going to turn 15% into our fraction. 15 over 100 times $2.20. So I'm going to show you my math here. Take out my decimal. And 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. I put my 0 there for a placeholder. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I add that together and I get 3,300. But I had a decimal 1, 2 places here. So 1, 2 places here. So the markup in this example, so it's actually 33 over 100. And then to divide that, it equals 0.33. So the markup is 33 cents. So the price is marked up by 33 cents. So now the total price is the original, $2.20, plus the 33 cents. And it is $2.53. So the selling price of the cereal is $2.53. In method 2, again, we're first finding that 100% is $26. So we want to see that 1% is 0.26, because again, I'd just be moving that decimal 2 places over by dividing, or you can keep it as 26 over 100. So now to find what 15% is, you would be doing, this should have been $2.20. I was doing the last problem. So 1% would be 0.022 or 2.2 over 100. My apologies. So in this case, we're going to keep that as a fraction. We move our decimal over. So we would get 22 over 1,000. So now we're doing, to find 15%, we're going to multiply 15 times 22 over 1,000. And what you will get is what you'll get is 330 over 1,000. I can cancel out a 0. And again, I'm moving my decimal over, so I'm getting 33 cents. So the price is marked up by 33 cents. And I know I cut that off, but again, you'd add the $2.20 to the 33 cents to get $2.53. Okay, we can do number 2 together. Angeline sells a t-shirt at a 40% markup. She pays $16 for each t-shirt. At what price will Angeline sell each t-shirt? So I'm just going to first jot down what I know, that $16 is the original cost, or $16 is what I'm considering 100%. And we have a 40% markup. So I'm going to stick with method 1 here to first find what 40% is. So I'm going to do 40 over 100 and multiply it by the $16, which of course is 16 over 1. And 40 times 16, I'll do the math over here. Would be 640. So 640 over 100. I cancel out a 0. And 64 divided by 10. Because I have 1 0, I'm just going to take my decimal and move it over, is 6.4. That's our final answer. So the markup is $6.40. So then the total cost is going to be our original cost of $16 plus our $6.40. Please don't forget to add in our zeros here. And you'll see that your total cost is $22.40. Please pause your video and give number 3 a shot, and then come back in a moment and check your answer. Okay, for number 3, you should have found that the change of 25% was 15 pounds. So after that time, you should have done 60 plus 15, and you would see that it was 75 pounds. Okay, number 4, we have a percent of change problem that talks about a price reduction. So the price is going down instead of being marked up. So when you get to the final step, you're not going to add here. You're actually going to subtract. We can go over it together. So we have 100% price of, excuse me, let's get that back. We have 100% equals $1,980. And there was a 30% reduction. So again, anytime a price is reduced, the price is going down. I like price reductions much better. So first I want to find what 30% of 1,980 is. So I'm multiplying. So I'm going to do 1,980 times 30. And I'm just dropping that 0 because I have a 0 in the ones place. 3 times 0, now I'm doing that, is 0. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 2 is 29. And 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So I have 59,400 over 100. I'll cancel out my zeros and see that I have $594. So that was my change. And again, it was a price reduction. So this time I'm going to subtract 1,980, the original price, minus 594. So in this case, I'm going to need to do some borrowing. So 17 minus 9 is 8. And so our new cost would be $1,386. Okay, now we're going to do some percent of change problems where we don't know what the starting total was. So in this example, Natalie had some beads. she used 25% of the beads to make a necklace, and she had 360 beads remaining. She then used 30% of the beads to make a bracelet. So first they're saying, how many did she have at first? So they're asking, what was 100%? Well, first we need to figure out what percent we have left. So they said she used 25%. So they performed 100 minus 25% and got 75% less. And then they told us in the question that she had 360 beads left. So we know that 75% equals 360. So now this is where you're going to want to find what 1% is. And in order to do that, you turn this into the fraction of 360 divided by 75. And you can just leave it as the fraction. So now we know what 1% is as a fraction. And to find what 100% is, you're going to multiply it by 100. They didn't show the math here, but I will do that for you. So 100 times 360 over 75 is going to equal 36,000 over 75. And then they actually did the long division. And I'll do it up here just so we have enough room. 36,000 over 75. 75 is going to go into 3. It won't go into 3. It won't go into 6. But it will go into 364 times. 4 times 75 is 300. I subtract, I get 60. Bring down. 75 goes into 608 times. Exactly. So that leaves me with 0. I bring down another 0. Remember, you can't ignore that. You have to acknowledge that 75 goes into 0 times. So at first, Natalie had 480 beads. So again, this is saying that 100% of the beads equals 480. And we need to use that for the second part of the question, which is on the next page. Okay, so in part B, they're saying how many beads were left after making the bracelet. So if you remember from the first part, it said that she used 30% of the remaining beads. And what was remaining was 360. So we're using 30% of that, and they want to know what's left over. So the math here is saying, okay, what percentage is left over? So 100%, which this time is representing the 360, minus 30 says that 70% of what was remaining is now left over. So we just do 70% times 360, which is 70 over 100 times 360. And if you do the math, change colors here so you can see it better. 360 times 70 will give us 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 6, so we would get 25,200 over 100, and we'll cancel out the zeros, and you'll see that 70% equals 252 beads left. So this was a compound problem. You had to do multiple steps, but every time we're sticking to multiplication and division, no matter what. Okay, let's do number 5 together. A chef made some dough. He used 60% of the dough to make a loaf of bread. He then used 50% of the remaining 900 grams of dough to make some biscuits. So first they want to know how much did the chef make at first. So what was 100% in the beginning? So they said he used 60% of the dough to make a loaf of bread. He then used 50% of the remaining 900. So first we started with 100% and he used 60%. So what was left over was 40%. They told us that the remaining 40% weighed 900 grams. So we're going to use that information. So now we want to find what 1% is. And you are going to do 900 divided by 40. In this case, I would cancel out some zeros, so our math is easier. So now we're going to keep it as a fraction. And then to find 100%, you are going to multiply 100 times 90 over 4, which winds up being, I'm going to do this up here, 9,000 over 4. And I'll show you the long division of how I'm getting my final answer. 4 goes into 9 twice. That's 8. I subtract. I bring down my 10. 4 goes into 10 twice. Again, 8. Subtract, I get 2. 4 goes into 25 times, which is exactly 20. I still have to bring down that last 0 and acknowledge that 4 goes into 0 times. So originally we started with 2,250 grams of dough. All right, so part B, how much dough was left after making the biscuits? So the amount of the dough that was remaining after the bread is now going to be considered 100%. And then they said the amount of dough remaining after the biscuits, he used 15%. So we're taking 100% minus 15% to get 85%. So in this case, we're going to find what 85% is. You're going to take the 900 grams of dough and so again, we're turning that into the fraction 85 over 100 times 900. And let's do our math here. 9 times 5 is 45. And 8 times 9 is 72. So we get 76,500 over 100. And I can cancel out those zeros and see that I would have 765 grams left. Okay, so number 6 is the last one we're going to do for the day, and we're going to do it together. So please follow along. And again, remember, if you have any questions, bring them to class with you tomorrow so that you can ask them and get some clarification. But Gina had some stickers. She gave 25% of the stickers to her friends. Gina then sold 60% of the remaining 375 stickers at the fun fair. So just like we have been doing, how many do we have at first? So our goal is to find what this 100% is here. So they tell us that she gave 25% of the stickers to her friends. So she started with 100% and gave 25% away, which means she has 75% left. And they say that 75% does equal 375. So now to figure out what 1% equals, you need to do 375 divided by 75. And that actually, and then equals 4. That one I know we can simplify right away. And then to figure out what 100% was, you're going to take the 4 and multiply by 100. So she started out with 400 stickers. And in part B, how many stickers did Gina have left? So the 100%, how many stickers did Gina have left after she gave the other 60% away? So again, we're using the new 100% as 375. So to figure that out, she gave 60% away. So 100% minus 60% is 40%. So now we need to find what 40% is. So first you're going to start by figuring out what 1% is. I'll change colors and write this off to the side for you. So 1% would be 375 over 100. So now to figure out what 40% is, you would do, and I'll write this down here, 375 over 100 times 40. So I need to see that 375 times 40 would give us 1,500. over 100. And again, I'll cancel out those zeros to see that she would have 150 stickers left. Again, I know this seems complicated, but please remember you're just multiplying and dividing. And if you always start by figuring out what 1% is, you're never going to get it wrong. So please remember, bring questions with you and bring your notes with you to class so you can use them while working on your classwork.